Hello everyone, it's I, Remy-chan, and today I'm going to be going to a bit of a diagnostic if I move my head here. Yeah, that one. So, hey friends, it is I, Remy-chan. This will be the second video my YouTuber stars in. Not a stream this time though, so easy to manage, probably. So, this ship started way back when I was working on the optional content for Menagerie Remastered. Esperia's fight with the Menagerie consists of her in the later stages of the battle seducing the party members to her side and making them off each other, basically. Leaving Fyori as the last one standing, and this will be important later. So, because Fyori is kind of a bit a lot less hardened at this point, she has a bit of a breakdown and reaches that soft spot in Esperia's heart, which is there, by the way. And so Esperia decides to let her and the Menagerie go. She says to Fyori she hopes in the future they may get to know each other more. Fast forward 100 years, and Fyori, due to being bored as hell, because she lives as Queen of Sprotopia, which is after a big adventure, that's not really going to cut it for very much, amusement. So she remembers Esperia's words and seeks her out via a trail of yearning she finds. She's using Esperia's yearning as almost a passageway to locate her. Along this passageway, she fights a couple of Esperia's minions, including Chloe, who decides to, help Fyori find, the one she's looking for. So Esperia, of course, is in her limbo at this time, just reflecting on things. Limbo, by the way, is like a personal pocket dimension that most ascended beings have. Fyori enters, but Esperia wasn't, incredibly expective, and she was also a bit scared of indulging her. Not because she had anything but love for Fyori, but we have a few things to consider. Esperia is a soul catcher, or the next level of a soul catcher, which is a dark seraphim. Blue, the aspect of magic, or intelligence, both really, reviles the soul catchers, and guess who is Fyori's mother? That's right, it's Blue. So yeah, you can kind of see where this is going. Esperia fears Blue as well, because as the aspect of intelligence, Blue can lower or heighten one's mental capabilities. To have a relationship with a daughter of magic would be seen as a violation in Blue's eyes, and Esperia would likely face divine punishment for it. Esperia can be defined in a lot of ways, but if there's anything she enjoys, it's being a cunning psychopath. As shown in Perseverance Full Clearance, she has the ability to be monstrously intelligent and perceptive. From the shadows, she instigated a worldwide war, which was known as the War of Intolerance or Great War, and then became the true leader of the shadow government/cult of Naxxon. When her figurehead had been killed by the Perseverance Union, she utterly humbled and humiliated them, mocking them for thinking Naxxon was much of anything. The fact she had her stylized E on his robe, just rotated it for 90 degrees. The same E she has in her right hand. It's implied from basically the beginning that Naxxon is literally her right-hand man. So losing the ability to pull crazy stunts like that would rob her of a large part of her identity. Fyori would have to really make it impossible for Espyori to refuse. So she just went for it. Fyori could just tell Fyori loved her. Fyori could tell Espyori loved her. And Fyori wanted to see if Espyori would be the one for her. So she gave Espyori an ultimatum. Either she lets this happen, or Fyori will offer herself in her limbo, as in Esperia's limbo, and tell her mummy that Espyori killed her once she ascends, which is basically yeah, I'm gonna tell on you and get you in big shit if you don't fuck me, basically. If you don't, give this a go. So, now knowing all bets were off, Espyori just basically accepted that, yeah, there's no saying no to this woman. So, Fyori was, I agree that on a getting to know you kind of level, that Fyori was being toxic as hell. But only because she knew this would be the only way to really let Esperia have, that, relationship. So there was like an actual reason for her doing it. If like, yeah. Anyway, Esperia is not a nice person either, so yeah, there's that. I mean, she laughs in the face of nobility and does not give a crap who she hurts. In the end, getting what she wants is all that matters, or mattered, I guess. In the Perseverance era, she was at her, like, worst and wildest, murdering entire populations just to break her target, and going so far as to bleed the protagonist, Pep, well, not him, but his mother, dry, like, basically leaving her as a grey hospital corpse and forcing him to watch. We didn't have to watch because it's scarier when you just subvert the expectation that you're going to see the fucked up shit that happens, and your mind will do a better picture of painting that horrific scenario than I ever could. If Pep was perseverant, she was ruthless. After that act, though, she realized she went too far and did what she could to atone. Lots of character development happened. After the first Perseverance era, she would go back in time with the Corporation 16, and that's why you fight her in a game like 500 years or so in the past. I mean, she was born in 1983, but this game takes... And, like, she was harassing Pep in, like, 2100. But, yeah, but then, like, it was 2199 or something. 2099 or something. But yeah, like, Pep, like, when you fight a menagerie, it's set in 1612. So yeah, there's a bit of a... That's why. And then, like, 100 years after that, menagerie in 1712 is when, like, Fyori and her basically met up. So Fyori is nothing close to perfect, and she has huge, and I mean huge, mummy issues. Kind of fitting considering her mummy has huge daddy issues. Wow, the circle really is complete, huh? Man, I look so smug when I do that stuff with my eyes. I wish I'd stop proceeding into the back of my head, but well, anyway. But like, when it came down to it, Esperia and her were next to a perfect match. And I'm gonna explain why. You can't just take my word for it, I know, so I'm gonna explain the thing. They both had a deviant, cooler side. They both had lots of crazy life experiences to reflect on. They both just genuinely enjoyed each other's company. Fyori was eager to be more independent and develop herself, while Esperia was enjoying the just discovery of genuine love, because all she'd had before that point was like kind of lust, and all just hatred personifying itself as like a kind of sick power fantasy. So yeah, I wish I could get this webcam to be well positioned, but you know, we're working on it. Anyway, I mean, obviously they'd still argue and stuff, like they still do that in Fantasia, but because they're both so like fucking honest, I mean, Esperia is like brutally honest all the time and considers herself too smart to need to lie, and Fyori's like like her trait is truth, and she's always been trying to dig out, like, you know, what's truly going on ever since she basically was introduced to the players in Menagerie. So yeah, that was a good thing that they had in common, because it would mean they would work out their issues and try to work through them. So the Rockets still aside, those two really they just really grew off each other's backs. By Fantasia, Fyori is utterly in control of her life, and she does not care who she hurts, similar like Esperia used to be. Meanwhile, Esperia, inversely, has like mellowed out a shit ton compared to how she was in Perseverance era, and she'd also mellowed out a bit in Menagerie, but a lot more noticeably in intelligence as well, like talking to Pep like he's a good friend, and, you know, having adventures with them and Tristy and stuff, which is something she never would have done before. So yeah, like, they might have started out in an unhealthy way due to varying circumstances, but what's incredible is that it was only unhealthy due to external factors. Like I was saying before, had Esperia not had to worry about Blue, or Fyori had to worry about keeping their relationship a secret due to, you know, Mummy, or, you know, basically duping Esperia into getting over her fears because Esperia was being difficult, they would have probably been a healthy relationship from the first. Fyori and Esperia are close to being good people. They get along because they recognize that being a good person doesn't really always pan out. They are one hell of a power couple. their ship and canonification of it have happened as a result of circumstances. They're not simply trying to, insert it into the game as a means of endorsing pride culture or whatever. Like, I don't do that. I don't give a shit about any of that stuff. Like, I'm glad that, gay people are getting more representation, because I too am a lesbian, which, like, I have no relationship experience, so I basically am going in blind when I write all this stuff, because I have no love experience. I've only, like, seen it from the exterior, like when my mother had it, and those probably weren't good examples. Anyway, but yeah, they've both been gay as hell, like, since 2014, which is when Menagerie Remastered came out. Like, or 2015, I guess, because that was when, like, Remastered was when that all happened. I mean, it's just a relationship that grew naturally over, like, half a millennium, basically. But it'll truly be seen properly in Flight, which is a game I intend to begin development on in tandem with Fantasia once I've released Fantasia Demo 3. That game, like Flight, will also go into a friendship with Madeleine, so that should be fun. Please look forward to it. I think in lesbian couples, as presented in games, it needs to feel like it's developed naturally, rather than, a hasty payoff with no build-up. The relationship of Esperia and Fyori happens over multiple games. It's seen budding in Menagerie gets cemented by intelligence, as Esperi's back in the timeline after 400 years of being with Fyori at that point, and in Fantasia the exchanges in their characters are even more pronounced. Their relationship is playful in a lot of cases, but there are tender moments between them that are utterly adorable, and it's incredible. They're just two distinct villainous badasses like this can have such a wholesome relationship. That's it. Thanks for watching. Bye.